I miss the baby.
The baby.
I miss the baby.
Freedom baby. Hello,
Hey,
everyone.
everybody. How you guys all doing? Welcome to Wednesday night, 9:30. No baby. Sad, but still, welcome. We have a huge lineup. Again, the
I think Freedom
listing.
Baby's going to be making a comeback this week or next week.
We do need to find a way to bring Freedom Baby back. We still have many Freedom Babies.
Freedom Babies.
We have changed sides, and that's just not right. And you know what? I wasn't prepared to correct that. Absolutely right. Because, angels on, oh no, I always think of it. Deana's on my right because the angels are always on the right. The devils are on the left. But
I should be on the left.
I don't know.
I
the shady
birthed
one.
Satan.
You birthed Satan? Yeah. What?
They keep calling me Satan or the spawn of Satan, but I keep telling them that I birthed Satan. I'm the one who spawns the demons. I'm the demon spawner. Demon spawner. My DNA is rigged. Satan's mama. Mama. Mom. Mama. Mama.
Good evening, everybody. So, welcome to us. We have the big lineup. Deana's got the tea.
We're going to spill the tea.
I got my usual pickle. And we're going to get started.
Telling me he has to fill his empty pickle, and I don't want to hear about it.
My pickle is demanding.
Oh, my God. Just stop. Just stop.
So we'll get started. We've got yeah, there is a lot of stuff to actually go over tonight. Because, and again, we only tease about a small amount, but there's actually a huge amount. And we're going to get started right away because we're going to start off with a lot of stuff we didn't even mention. So to begin with, as many people are aware of, Nicholas Iwanchuk from out west decided to start a protest. He made a large event about this. This is called the First Nations Rise. Everyone, First Nations wishing... Sorry?
He speaks for First Nations now.
Oh,
He's
absolutely.
the chosen one, is he?
He is.
I see.
He is. He knows everything. And we'll see how well he sees things in a moment here. Everyone, First Nations wish to invite everyone to free camping on unceded land, January 20th, 2024. Yeah, 4 days ago. We'll get to that. Where? On Parliament Hill, Ottawa, Ontario. Bring a tent, generator, food, and water supplies onto Parliament Hill. Yeah. We're staying until government is removed off unceded land. Treaty is broken. Government is on notice to be evicted. Feel free to do this with any government office or building on unceded land everywhere, please. So, how well is this?
Asking who posted this.
Oh, so this is Nicholas Iwanchuk, is who posted this. And in fact, he even made this GoFundMe, asking for $1,000. The first donation was $100. And I checked today, it's still at $100.
I bet you it's his $100 he donated.
I'm not going to say that. I might agree, feel that wholeheartedly. Just, it is what it is. But even still in there, it's like, hi, my name is Nicholas John Iwanchuk. My FB is, etc. is Freedom for Nicholas 4. My puppy Oreo and I are trying to get to Ottawa from Port Hardy, BC for January 20th. Having given the position of the spokesperson and peacekeeper for Peace, Love, and Unity Move on Parliament Hill. I can't afford a plane ticket and have no way of getting there. Once in Ottawa, I will be meeting with the Parliament Hill Liaison Police and will be setting up a tent as my residence at the Eternal Flame. From there, a TP will be set up, along with several other tents representing every race and group in Canada, forming a unified circle around the flame. Our children's futures depend on us solving our ongoing issues in Canada peacefully and legally. God bless you all, and I hope to see you all on the Hill in the near future. Sincerely, Nicholas, John, Iwanchuk, and Oreo. Not gonna lie, the dog thing is kind of fun.
Did
The rest of it's
Oreo
crazy.
give him the position of spokesperson and peacekeeper for the peace, love, and unity movement? Because if only one person donated and nobody else showed up, and it would have only
Maybe
been
it was Oreo.
Nicholas and Oreo showing up, I think Nicholas and Oreo have too many meetings.
Yeah. So before we get into how it's going, because this is
You mean how it went?
That's true. It's how it went. Before we get to how it went, a bit of background. So this is something I've always known for a long time because I remember seeing this.
Oreo's
Sorry?
the president.
Oreo's the president. Oh, there's. Please throw in the comments here in regards to how we view Oreo, because you know what, Oreo being the $100 donor and being in charge of the whole thing, I think is absolutely fantastic. But anyways, the first flaw in the numerous flaws I saw that was setting up tents on Parliament Hill. Now, for those who are who know about Parliament Hill and some just the lower rules that many people have forgotten about. One particular one I recall for some reason is back in the 80s, there used to be a protest on Parliament Hill against nuclear armament. They had a tent and they were camped there all the time until during Brian Mulroney's term, where they put in a rule where there was no more camping allowed on Parliament Hill. Since then, there has been a rule, excuse me, you're not allowed to camp Parliament Hill. It's just not allowed.
Remind me again what government Brian Mulroney was with?
I think he was one, that blue one. I think it's the color. I can't remember what that blue one is, but yeah.
I think it's like conservatives.
I just remember con. I just remember the con. But yeah, it was during that time, during the government, that they ceased the camping, permission to camp on there. Now, I do not recall if it was any involvement from the government or if it was an NCC rule. All I remember is that's it, no more camping. And that's been a rule ever since the 80s. I remember bringing that back up also
Yes,
about a year ago.
Ziggy, yes. Ziggy, yes. It was a year ago, actually. It was in January.
Oh.
The guy
someone was wearing a
was
tent?
it January? No, it was almost a year ago. It was
That would be January, a year ago.
Yeah, but it was a little bit later, and the guy was wearing a blue tent. Do you remember that? Was it blue? I'm pretty sure it was blue. He just
I don't recall this.
Yeah.
Do not recall this, but I'd love to see this.
I think we had put it on our show, to be honest.
Did we?
Yeah, I think it was around the Saran wrap time. Maybe it was a year ago. Remember when they were?
I do remember. I do remember the Saran wrap. Oh, so there was the. I don't know if it was really wearing a tent, but they were in front of Parliament, where they were all in a tent. And they were all sealed in there, and they were hotboxing the tent. Yeah, it was.
That was the same tent.
I think Steve was in there. SC Fox was in there, and a few others. And I think there was tape involved at one point. I know there was Saran wrapper involved around the DJ. But yeah, the whole thing was a shit show, and that ties to something else we're going to be talking about a little bit later coming up, because it comes out to the whole anniversary thing. Anyways, so. Back to this particular point, Nicholas John Iwanchuk wants to go do some camping. You're not allowed to do camping on Parliament Hill. That's a rule that's been there for quite a while. In fact, they even they even put up the NCC signs to say NCC property, you can't camp. That's just the rule. So how did his plan go? Well, obviously fantastic because Nicholas Iwanchuk,
There's another problem here. He's
oh,
saying it's on unceded territory, but whose unceded territory, Nicholas?
mm,
Whose? Are you
that's true. You got to
Algonquin
know
or
the nations.
Anishinaabe? Anishinaabeg? I don't
Yep.
think so.
No, considering he's coming from BC, I'm pretty sure not.
I'm pretty
But you
sure.
know what? I don't want to speak because you know what? I'm far too alabaster to speak there. I could be wrong. He could be Anishinaabe for all we know. Anyways, his request did go up to PPS saying, listen, I'm coming here. I'm setting up tents. We're going to have a big protest. Give us a permit to come onto Parliament. And Parliament turns around and says, no. Hello, Daniel. This is Linda Grass. We would like to request a permit for an event with organizers Nicholas Iwanchuk, Patty A. McIntomy, and Linda Grass. A 3-month period at the Eternal Flame starting at noon, January 20th, 2024, with 2 tents, 1 teepee to unite humanity in peace, love, and unity with ceremonies and helping the homeless on the Parliament Hill. There's no homeless people on Parliament Hill, but you know what? Who cares? We wish for our stay there with us we wish for our stay there with us as the eternal flame, eternal fire is a place of warmth. And the adequate lighting on the hill provides a place of safety for our homeless. So you're just looking
I
for a
don't
place to
think they
squat.
realize that the eternal flame isn't actually eternal and it doesn't stay on all the time.
Yeah, the eternal flame comes on and off. It's not as you're right. It's not as eternal as you think because I mean I think they turned it off during the convoy, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, at one point they turned it off and
Mm-hmm.
they were all upset about it because they were cold. It was the first anniversary, actually. They had turned it off.
Did they during their first anniversary?
It was one of the days of their wrapping the saran wrap around the tents and stuff like that. They had turned it off. And I remember Christine crying all over about it and Daisy and whatever. Anyway, it wasn't just for them. They had turned it off for another day as well. I remember because I had gone there. There was
I
something
remember.
else that happened close to that time and it was off. So it wasn't just for
I,
them.
I remember. I was there.
Yes.
So that said, they made the request, and PBS came back and said no, because I'm pretty sure they saw the tents and like, no, that's it. No, you can't. You're not allowed to set up tents.
I bet you they were going to build the teepee right around the eternal flame.
God.
That's the only way it's going to keep them warm.
Yeah, there's just a total amount of stuff that's just absolutely terrible. But yeah, they saw this and like, no. And so
at least they asked this time before they decided they were going to squat in our city. But this time they wanted to stay for 3 months instead of 3 weeks.
Yeah. We're gonna sit and squat with a bunch of homeless people on Parliament Hill and with tents and return the whole thing tent city. There's an interesting thing on a political idea on that. I'm not against in regards to trying to bring the whole homeless issue to the front door, but it's I knew right from the get go it's not going to work because you're asking them to set up tents and they've already got a rule against it. You're not
you
finding
can't even
something
put
new.
up
You're just
tents
repeating
in the
something
city
old.
of Ottawa anywhere. Like, why are they going to
No.
allow it on Parliament? They're
No,
breaking down.
and you're not wrong, but it's that specific explicit thing of tents was already ruled a no from the 80s. You got to find something new if you're going to do something, and they're not very good at finding something new because they're not familiar with what's old.
They put so much effort into that instead of putting effort into like properly trying to be a solution for the homelessness problem. Like, if you have that much energy,
why fix the homelessness problem when you can just use them as a prop?
Well, that's exactly my issue with this whole thing is that they keep trying to use homeless people as their props. Like,
Absolutely right.
and then I don't know, maybe they think in their own heads that they're actually trying to help the homeless people and that they're going to fix the homeless people.
We're going to be the hero of the homeless people. And that's
Right. And
kind
the
of
homeless
the
people want
problem.
nothing to fucking do with them, to be
No,
honest.
no.
Why do I know this? Because I talk to them. They don't like
I
you
recall.
guys.
Yeah, I remember Diane.
Not just Diane.
Oh, yeah.
Not just Diane. I speak to a lot of homeless people.
Oh, yeah. No,
One who finally got a place after 20 years, and I can't wait to put out that story. We're working on something right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
20 years of being homeless, and they finally have a place to live.
So,
yep.
so Mr. Iwinchuk completely denied the permit and the whole thing, and also denied the fact did not raise the funds to come here to Ottawa. On top of that, co-organizer Patty A. McIntomy sent out a statement saying, "Please take notice. I am in no way part of this, nor was aware my name was illegally being used in this post. I apologize. I'm trying to read this while I'm trying to make sense of the language."
I did not request any permit, nor was even aware, nor consulted with regards about this. I do not consent to this. I will be pressing charges for this occurrence and for stealing my identity. Citizens arrest. I do not know this person, Linda, nor care to associate with Nicholas, whom previously slurred hate and slandered my name with his buddy Adrian. I don't even live in the same area or province of the two guys. Blocked them long ago. She made sense. I don't know who she is. She made sense.
She did. The English was a little rough, not gonna lie. But yeah, that was so. This was a poorly planned and worse executed event.
It's because him and Oreo were the only two heads that were putting it together, and maybe Linda.
You know he's gonna blame Oreo for this, right?
Yeah, poor Oreo.
Poor Oreo. It's all Oreo's fault. Just, Oreo did not perform and deliver.
So bad.
My God. Well, we can't stay too long on this story because we got another one, which is Mr. Josh Bigger.
Fucking idiot.
He is. Josh Bigger. For most of you guys know, Josh Bigger is also known as Mr. Roofer or Mr. Big Time Roofer.
Or something. I don't know.
Yeah, something ridiculous, but something we don't really. Mr. Freedom is another one. And blood libel, apparently. So, anyways, this story here comes from and tracked by our friend, the Cookie Lady. Cookie Lady came across some postings and made some captures here in regards to Mr. Freedom, where Josh Bigger has proudly announced his anti-Semitism. The Cookie Lady says they're not surprised. His followers agree with his hate and support for violence. Now, his anti-Semitism, there's a bit of trigger warning I will mention to people. This one is a bit shocking in regards to his anti-Semitism. Thank you, vaccines, baby. Just be prepared. So, Mr. Freedom, I see some people are mad because I stand against P3DOs. The subhuman practice suctioning the blood off of babies, and I won't continue. As you can read yourselves. He makes a fair amount of statements and a fair amount of postings after this. So he's equating circumcision as blood suctioning. As well as his followers are completely celebrating and working and supporting him this. And, if you're not sure if he's being absolutely offensive, he's posting stuff like this now.
What a fucking idiot.
Now, we've been equated to being anti-Semitic because we support pro-Palestine, which we absolutely say is absolutely false.
I'm
There is
Semitic.
nothing, yeah, anti-Semitic. There is, Jewish people should be respected. It is
Correct.
their choice. It is their right. It is,
Jewish people don't stand like with Israel, so
yeah.
it's not anti-Semitic. That doesn't make
It's
sense.
it's
Zionism is a
Zionism is a political stance with
right.
Israel. It has nothing to do with the Jewish faith. They're two very separate things, and if you
You could
cannot
be a
separate these two
Christian
things,
Zionist.
yeah, you could be Christian Zionist. You could be any.
Israel.
You could be anything Zionist.
Correct.
You can be siding with Israel. You can be anything siding with Israel and Israel's political views. The issues in regards to the pro-Palestinian rights that we protest with has to do with criticisms of Israel, the nation, and its political leaders, and their what they're doing and saying. Nothing to do with the Jewish people, nor would we ever stand for anybody to go, to attack people because of their faith. That's not right.
And if you've been following us for the last 2 years or a year or however
Mhm.
long, you'd know that.
Exactly. So, Mr. Bigger, on the other hand,
We've been following him for the past 2 years,
mhm,
and he is anti-Semitic, and he's a racist, and he's a pile of dog poo.
yeah, I did not, so I'll be honest here. I did not know he was anti-Semitic till this particular time because he hadn't really he hadn't really shown it till now. I'm not gonna say, um, it was something I was aware of, but I'm also not gonna say that I'm not surprised. I mean, I know, was it Chris Sky? I know he's mentioned a fair amount of anti-Semitic stuff, but Josh Bigger, I haven't heard it. So I
It,
try to be
he's
I try to keep my
friends
statements
with
to what's been shown.
anti-Semites. I think
So
I said he's friends with anti-Semites. I'm pretty sure it's pretty clear that he's an anti-Semite.
fair, yeah, and well, although if you hang around with anti-Semites, you kind of are going to get called anti-Semitic because if you're not calling them out for it, um, I wasn't quite willing to go to say that specifically. I wanted him to come out and say that, and now he did. So there we have it.
Yep.
And we're not done the air because now we move to Tamara. Tamara Litch. So this one is actually a story mostly done by Rachel Gilmore. So about a week ago, she came out, commenting on Tamara Litch is going to the States, and a lot of people had issues with this, but we'll get to that in a second here. Going down to the States to be a keynote speaker at an event where there's a prominent Holocaust denier who was going to be speaking there. Yeah, there's a bit of a theme
Among
going on
others.
here. Among others, absolutely. So since then,
Wasn't David Duke supposed to be a speaker too?
I don't recall seeing David Duke's name there.
What I did. Okay.
I don't recall seeing David Duke's name there. If he wasn't, absolutely. But I feel Rachel Gilmore would have been more,
I
would have
thought
been
she brought
focusing a
it
little
up.
bit more on him.
I thought she actually said that.
Well, it's so
Yes, for David Duke. Yeah, Rachel
Okay.
Gilmore did mention it, and like near the end, when she mentioned the other participants.
It's weird because I figured David Duke would have been sort of the more prominent one. Like, yes, there's a Holocaust denier there too, but hey, David Duke.
Well, they're
I just-
both equally vile. The whole panel. Like when she mentioned,
The panel is vile, but I'm like, David Duke has a certain notoriety. He's the former Grand Wizard of the
Well, so does
KKK.
that Holocaust denier.
Yeah, but David Duke, I feel
I
is
don't. You're acting like David Duke is worse than the other guy, and I don't think he is.
no,
I think they're
but
both equally shitty. So I
I'm
don't know
sorry,
why
sorry.
Rachel would have.
I'm not debating on who's shittier. I'm debating
But
on who's
David
no
Duke
more
is not the
known.
keynote speaker. That's why she's talking about it.
Okay, all right. I'll go with that because I mean, for renown, I'm like, I think David Duke is just generally renowned the most compared
Right.
to somebody who was. You have to explain to me they're the Holocaust
But he
denier.
wasn't the keynote speaker.
Fair enough. All right, we'll go with that. Anyways, so for some reason, I guess Tamara Litch got a little bit of heat and like, you know what, this might not be working so well. And Rachel came up with the update here saying like, yeah, she seems to have disappeared from the panel. Now, this is where I wasn't, this is why I was saying like, because I've seen this list here, their speakers, and David Duke's not in that listing here.
No,
There's a bunch of questionable people in this
I
big
remember her
list.
saying it.
Yeah, quite possible.
Do you hear my dog?
Your dog seems unhappy. Your
He's
dog
sleeping.
seems.
He's sleeping and he's yet barking at somebody. Anyway,
It's probably because he sees this list of speakers.
yes, he's like, I'm
Just
coming
like-
to get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tamara did back out.
So Tamara backed out. And the only thing that's a big question mark is like, they replaced her with Freedom Convoy Coots Alberta stand-up spokesperson
To be
to be announced, or TBC.
to be confirmed.
To be confirmed. So they're looking at getting that person replaced. But yeah, she's like, you know what? Yeah. I don't know if she's looking at it as like this panel is of questionable people, or it's like it's just not going to be good for me. It's just not going to fit my image of, you know, freedom or whatever the hell her image is.
Oh my god! Just reading.
The panel.
What
Yeah.
a crappy, boring get together. Good for them.
Well, there's a bishop, so you know they're going to be making the whole place fun.
Where are they holding this? Why hasn't it been canceled yet?
Oh, it's in the States.
Oh, okay.
So the event is in the States. I can't
And she's
recall.
allowed to travel to the States.
Well, this was part of the original discussion. Like,
Is that why
people were
she
freaking
actually
out.
backed out? Because really, was she allowed to go there?
Well, this was part of the original issue, which was people were saying like, why is she going to the States?
Maybe
She's
by
got
Zoom.
conditions. She's been charged. What the hell? Why is this
Maybe-
going on?
Maybe she would have been on by Zoom or something.
And if she was on by Zoom, that's fine. She's doing it from her place. She's able to do this kind of shit now. But yeah, she was supposed to be going down there to go and, you know, mix and mingle with, you know,
Barbara
the
has gone to
finest.
States. Oh, I didn't know that. Must be
Yeah.
nice.
It must be nice. Speaking of Barber and Convoy related things, it's been, and as you were discussing, it has been coming up to this weekend, 2 years since the Convoy started. And in fact, it's celebration time. This year, they're celebrating. Well, instead of the big party on Parliament this year, they're going to just have a little get together at the Red Pepper. So, and as I commented in a tweet, the first one they started off with like 12,000 on the first weekend for the Convoy. The first anniversary, they had like, you know, about 200 people on the hill, and now they're going to have a celebration at the Red Pepper. And next year, I'm sure it's going to be a booth at McDonald's.
The caboose. Remember the
The
caboose?
caboose. There we go. The caboose at the McDonald's. You know, I mean, it's just it's getting sad.
This Saturday at the Hill, 11 a.m. There apparently will be a march. Usual chuds. All right.
That's gonna be sad. I was gonna say it. It's gonna be sad.
Wah wah wah.
Oh, wait.
Oh, I missed a wah.
Exactly. You gotta get the full wah to the whole thing.
Carl's in charge of everything again. We know how that went the last time he was in charge.
It can't be Carl that's in charge. Carl's not allowed on Parliament Hill.
Yeah.
He still has
Can't even
conditions.
go and take pictures.
It's true.
He's the guy with the camera. He's good with pictures, remember?
It's true. All right, we're gonna shoot across for some of the stuff here. So this one we're gonna go through, and this has to do with Indonesia, Mexico, and Chile in regards to, as we're gonna start shifting over now towards to the international line in regards to Palestine and Israel. So Indonesia prepares a case against Israel for blatant violation of international law. So this was Indonesia getting involved in there. So one of the reasons why they're getting prepared the case, as opposed to jumping in with South Africa's case, has to do with Indonesia's foreign ministry has assembled a team of experts to help formulate arguments in the ICJ advisory case that seeks to hold Israel accountable for its various violations of international law and well-documented crimes against humanity in occupied territories. Foreign Minister Retno Marsudi stated ahead of the conversation with legal experts in Jakarta that our deliberations today will not only support Indonesia's diplomacy, but support the enforcement of world order according to international law and support our Palestinian brothers and sisters to achieve their independence. But another point that was in there too was that I believe that there was mentioned that Indonesia was not part of the original Geneva Convention, so they could not use anything from the Geneva Convention. They had to come in with something else. And this is part of the reason why they're doing this preparation. Now, during this time, Mexico and Chile referred to Israel-Hamas conflict to ICC over potential crimes. Israeli retaliatory offensive on Hamas-led Gaza Strip has led to increasing international alarm and scrutiny. In the statement, Mexico's foreign ministry argued that the ICC was a proper forum to establish potential criminal responsibility, whether committed by agents of the occupied power or the occupied power. The action of Mexico and Chile is due to growing worry over the latest escalation of violence, particularly against civilian targets, being one of the main focus. So, all this to say, there's starting to be more countries starting to increase interest in speaking out in regards to demanding a universal ceasefire, saying like we need to act on this. There's a genocide going on, and this is a good thing.
And war crimes. And
war crimes, absolutely.
When we're done here, I just came across a news reel that went yesterday, and I didn't see it on Twitter yet. I'm sure it's on there. But ITV News actually captured men getting shot, one guy killed while they were no arms, like no weapons, nothing, and a white flag. And they had just done an interview with them. And then the men were trying to walk. This is in an area that was supposed to be deemed safe. It's Khan Yunis, and captured them getting shot by Israeli forces unarmed with a white flag, and then a man dying, and then the aftermath after it. It's a almost 10-minute clip. I was just about to put it out, but I put captions on it because I want to make sure everybody can, get everything.
Understand it.
And yeah, you cannot dispute. And they brought up the fact that the Israelis, because they shoot at people with white flags, 3 of the Israeli hostages, or not even hostages, they are military captives, like they're prisoners of war, whatever you want to call it. escaped, and they were going to their Israeli people, whatever, with the white flag, and they were shot and killed. That's also in this news clip. So then they had to put out a statement saying, no, now you need to think before you shoot people when they have a white flag.
Well, it's in Geneva Convention. You're not even supposed to be allowed to do that.
Of course you're not. They're
Yeah.
unarmed. And they're holding
Yeah.
a white flag. That's the international symbol of surrendering and peace and whatever. Like, you
Yeah, no,
cannot.
absolutely.
Yeah. So this just came out yesterday, last night at 10 o'clock at night. And I just came across it right before our stream. So I was, working on it, and I will put it out right when we're done. It's ridiculous. And you will see for yourself. Don't even take my word for it. Wait till you see. You will bear witness to an execution.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's nobody is holding them accountable. It's
Nope.
just every single time we see these actions, nothing's right now being done.
Yep.
Now, at least one thing right now we are seeing, and I'm taking this with with a grain of salt. So this is from last week. Jagmeet Singh and the NDP party on the federal level has spoken out and said they're demanding for an immediate ceasefire in the hostilities between Israel and Palestine. So there is a lot of mixed emotions. The first thing I want to say is I don't disagree. Absolutely get the ceasefire here. At the bare minimum, stop the military action going, because the military action is pretty much going in one direction, towards Palestine. And it's just civilians. Stop that for sure. Get more discussion, get more conversation going on. Including to say Germany, United States, and Canada are strong supporters of Israel. So that's directly being called out, which is great. And now must use this position to advance the cause of a renewed ceasefire and ultimately a permanent peace in the interests of both Palestine and Israelis alike. The mass assault was a brutal act of terror and a heinous breach of international law. Actually, no. The attacks
Resistance is justified when people are occupied.
And yeah, so there's a lot to counter that particular statement. And in regards to Deana's statement, the short version of that is true. The long version of the explanation, you are actually in the right to resist when your land is occupied. That's the international law. So that particular
Not
statement
just your land.
is not right.
When you are being starved, withheld from water, withheld from fuel, withheld from electricity, when they are basically slowly killing you and the genocide, you have absolutely every fucking right to defend your right to exist and to live.
I don't disagree with that. I'm saying the starting is they're occupying your land. Correct. Everything that you just mentioned there is on top of that.
Correct.
Like, and that's exactly it. They're occupying your land. They're occupying your nation. They've turned you into a prison. So there's a whole discussion there in regards to why the law is actually in the favor of Palestine, international law, because of the occupation. If you guys want to get some more information, there is a really great content creator called Rathbone who's gone through and explained a lot of this in regards to the international law, where Israel has got an occupation of Palestine, and therefore, anytime they say it's a terrorist act that this group from Palestine is doing against Israel, now they're just covering up for the fact that they're doing defense of occupation. So it's kind of an interesting thing to read through it and understand, and let me know if you guys would like to see some more information about that. Anyways, so we'll skip over that paragraph because there's some wrong parts, but the net message here has been to declare, to ask for ceasefire just to stop hostilities. And from that, I'm like, I cannot disagree. Like, if we can stop bombs being dropped on Palestinians, I'm for it. Period. I'm not saying that's the end of it. I'm saying start there.
Yeah,
There's a
not
lot.
really. Here's why I say this, because people keep coming into my fucking comments and saying stupid shit like the Hamas or the Palestinians voted against or declined to accept a 2-month ceasefire. And the 2-month ceasefire is as long as they hand over all the hostages, the only fucking collateral they have. And then all they get is 2 months of ceasefire. And then what? And then what?
When the shelling returns.
So no, we're not just calling for a ceasefire. We're calling for an end to the fucking occupation. Don't just ask for a ceasefire. It needs to be an end to the occupation, the genocide, and the apartheid. And no, you're not going to get the only collateral that the Palestinians have to be able to finally be free from the fucking boot that Israel has placed on their necks. And so Jagmeet Singh is trying to, like, they're sort of moving a little bit. And, you know, on Spaces, I was like commenting about, oh, it's about time or whatever, but I didn't fully read his statement. And when I did, I unretweeted it and I unliked it. And then soon after, somebody made a very good post, tweeted a really great post, basically saying that this is weak. It means nothing. Calling for a ceasefire is not enough. You need to call it what it is. It's a genocide, and you need to call it, you need to end the apartheid, and we need to stop spending our money, our tax dollars, over 100 million in 5 years, paying to fund one of the most powerful militaries in the world. Meanwhile, we have people here who are crazy homeless. We have people here who need to be in hospital care. They have to wait hours or whatever. Emergency rooms are shutting down in certain provinces. I know that's provincial.
Yeah.
But why are we spending our money to pay for people to kill other people, to kill children? And then we find out that our pensions are being invested in military, Israeli military armament. Like, what are we talking about here? How invested are we in this genocide?
No, and absolutely. I mean, like the big one I recall was what do I call it? Like our involvement where we're sending equipment to Israel in regards to like even something as mundane but still significant, like, you know, body armor and whatnot. I'm like, all right, how much are we sending? Like, we're in the millions? Like, holy shit, why are we sending millions of dollars in armament and equipment
Tanks,
and everything else?
all that shit.
Yeah.
And even worse, we're sending stuff to the United States, which ultimately ends up sending some of it to Israel, but it's not accessible to us as the public. That information isn't accessible to us.
Yeah.
So not only are we involved in the amount that I just spoke to, and that's being reported, it's even more than that. So
it absolutely is, and it's just kind of horrifying in regards to
sickening.
Yeah, to the amount of stuff we're sending to them, because as this is something that's going to age poorly if nothing's done about this, because we're going to turn back and we're going to see this. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
This is
but
a stain on Canada. Another disgusting stain on Canada.
Yeah, and we're going to see this, and in many years, if we haven't done anything about this to stop this now, we're going to turn back and look at this and say, and people are going to ask us, like, this was clearly something that was terrible. Why didn't we do anything about this?
Yeah, we
need to ask, like,
we kept feeding the monster.
Yeah. Why were we involved in this? Like,
go destroy another place. Here, eat more so you can go destroy that place. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It is. So, continuing on that tangent, we go over to Ottawa, you know, where a lot of us are at, and we go to the Palestinian protest that was here last weekend. So we'll start off with just the general of their fantastic protest. Got a couple of good shots here.
Oh man, that protest was wild.
It
I
was
should have sent you the video of everybody dancing when we were at Rito Center.
dancing at Rita
Did
Center.
you didn't see that? When we
I
stopped at
did
Rito
not.
Center and they were like
This was
drumming
Rita.
and stuff and we were
Yeah.
chanting, there were like people had come out of the mall, some of the homeless people were there and they were
I saw
full
them. Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
dancing and it was like,
I did
yes.
saw. I think I captured some of that on my camera. I didn't want to bring it too much because I wasn't too sure about the people if they wanted
Oh, they
people
were
to.
doing this and they were like, when I was chanting, this one girl, she was coming,
Mhm.
she's like, louder. And then I would chant again. She's like,
Yeah,
louder. She was awesome. She was full on dancing. No, yeah, it was an indigenous woman. She was like fire.
yeah.
She was awesome.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, like, I saw them. And you're absolutely right. I mean, this is just after that particular point because that's the bridge we went under. Because I remember all the dancing was underneath the bridge, the drumming was there, and we took a. I remember that the entire line took a couple steps, stopped in front of Indigo, was like, yeah, and now we're going to talk about Indo because we know why we're talking about Indigo here.
Yep.
But yeah, so the protest overall was pretty good, and I'm not going to go through the whole protest, but there's a couple of clever signs here that were there. Staying in solidarity with other places that are dealing with Zionism or versions of occupations,
Colonization.
colonization, as well as to what's going on to Palestine. There's some amazing, beautiful signs. Like learn their names. 108 days, and the massacres continue. Examples of blood, killing children is terror. Stop the terrorism. Again,
And
wonderful
just for
signs.
anybody who doesn't know, we are fully fucking energized every time we go. The fire in us is just burning brighter
Oh yeah.
and brighter. We are not losing steam. The
Mhm.
government better fucking do something. We're not losing steam.
Yep, absolutely. It was absolutely, like I said, it was absolutely incredible in regards to, because I was there for this last one, which was really good. I don't know if I'll be able to go to the next one.
I'll be at the
Just
next
because. Sorry?
one. I said I'll be there.
I know. We might do another.
I need to pick up batteries, but I'll be there. My batteries finally died.
I'm not surprised. But yeah, let me know. We might do another simulcast, like we do usually, because again, we
Yeah.
can do it with this one too.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can get that hooked up. But as it is when you go to these rallies, you occasionally have some problems.
Trevor, no, that's not what that says.
I'm watching her right now. She's being ticketed by. Yeah.
Long live the resistance!
I got a camera here together.
He wants me to stop using my dollar store megaphone! Shame, shame, bylaw! Shame, shame, bylaw! Shame, why didn't you get the Convoy tickets yesterday? Bylaw officer! I have 2 videos from yesterday of people with megaphones. Officer, don't push it, officer. He's a legal and civil officer. He's a marshal officer. You're supposed to work with the officer, with the marshal.
Off the front
Don't worry. I know Kung Fu.
They were worried about me. I'm like, don't worry, guys.
Oh shit.
Don't worry, don't worry. Yeah, take the fight. I will take the fight. I will fight the fight. Take the fight. We will not be silent. 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 Shame, shame, bylaw. Shame, shame, bylaw. Shame, shame, bylaw. Shame, shame, bylaw. You will not be
Every time.
We will not be silent. Need protection, eh?
Yeah, it's all right. Are you a cop? That's fine. You can't go in.
Keep going! You're the president!
So, I want to start off with this photo I also took there.
Yeah, look at
which,
that bylaw officer, people. Don't fucking forget that face.
Oh, you'll see him again.
Yeah,
But
you
that's
will.
not the thing. It's not kind of
Look
the
at the
focus.
fucking smirk on his face,
Thank
the
you.
piece of shit. You're gonna see how much of a piece of shit he is soon. Keep going.
So first off, to our friend here, I know exactly who he is. That's because my beard is fabulous. You know that. That's why you see my beard. It's fabulous. It's hard to hide it. But so this particular view, and having been in that crowd here, and I could not really capture it because I didn't get a chance to detach my camera to get a better top view as to what's going on. So that's going to be something on me to make sure for next time. Bylaw and the city was so focused on trying to give you a ticket that they endangered and caused chaos in the middle of a protest
They did.
to send some sort of message. Now,
They did.
this is a message that I think went to the wrong person, because you want to try to intimidate people in regards to whatever the hell you want to do. Cool.
Doesn't work on me.
Yeah, that's your first problem. Second, all you ended up doing is the entire protest got very unsteady, to the point that it was quite clear the officers at that situation got uncomfortable doing any more of these types of actions because of this.
It was on purpose, in my opinion.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think they were trying to unsettle and they were looking for a conflict. That is my personal opinion. And when I saw the faces of some of the protesters and how they were getting agitated, that's when I was like, I'm taking the ticket. And then I saw it start to escalate. I looked in the crowd and I was like, I want this to stop. I didn't want it to go anywhere else. So you don't see it, and you might see it in my live.
Yeah.
Where I pushed through the police officers. And I realized who that police officer that pushed me, that I said, don't fucking push me. I'm trying to help you out here. And that's when I started to tell everybody, okay, keep moving, keep moving. I'm safe. I'm here. It was the guy who on June 9th was one of the officers that tried to at first detain me from that dumb bitch hitting me with the Bible. And he fucking lied. He lied, saying that I hit her with a water bottle. I had no water bottle in my hand. In fact, it was her dumbass fiance at the time, the pastor, who was trying to smash my head with the water bottle. So I was like, I didn't recognize that guy. And then I remembered who it was. But anyways, he was told by his superior that they were finished. They were done. They could stop. And he ended up hearing her voice. But I fucking was like, don't fucking push me, man. I'm trying to help you. Because you see the crowd and they were getting unsettled. And you're right. You're absolutely right, Joe. They did fucking endanger people. But I think it was by design. I think they want conflict. And that piece of shit bylaw officer you're going to see in 2 clips from now. But let's talk about the next one, because right now we're going to demonstrate how completely unbalanced the city is being. Because as you guys know, if you've been following, and if you don't know, you'll see in my live stream the day before, which was last Saturday, 2 different protests I was at. One was a protest, which was the Ukrainian protest, and they had a megaphone. they were a small crowd. They were there for half an hour. I'm not saying these people should get fines. I'm saying the opposite. Okay. So they had,
Well,
they were
I
at the
think we're
Human
saying
Rights
nobody should be getting
Monument.
fines at protests.
Well, these guys were there for a set time, half an hour. We're there for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Our march, we all go.
Yep.
Then you had the convoy people. And not only did I post that the bylaw was right there when they were using their megaphones, but a fucking chud also posted. Brian Gilpin, I saw his video recently, and they're yelling at the bylaw officer. He was sitting right there when that stupid, crazy woman, she's nuts, was like using her megaphone, but they didn't give them a ticket. And then to add insult to injury, at the end of our protest, after I said good night to everybody or good afternoon, and I shut down my live stream, luckily Joe's camera was still going on. What did you capture, Joe? Steve with his big speaker.
Are you guys on his team? Yeah, fuck you, you can't hear me. Is that it? You can't hear me over his music? Hey?
So what was kind of missed out there was because I wasn't able to get that particular footage. I thought I got it clear, but I didn't because the camera wasn't quite aimed in the correct direction. But it was SG Fox, as many people know him as, coming up to the entire convoy with his boombox,
Not
blasting
the convoy,
out.
the Palestinian protest.
Yes, sorry, the Palestinian protest, blasting out like Freedom Convoy Palestinian music.
Yeah,
it's you heard it there. It's kind of weird.
And walked right in front of 4 bylaw officers. That's who I was like, so you good with that?
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. Because I'm just trying to see if I can. Because right about there, as Deana's conversing with them, let me see if I can get to the angle where we're at. Right about this point here, Deana's trying to converse them, and they're just coming up to this intersection point right there to talk to them as they're walking by. Boombox in hand, blasting out the music, and the bylaw guys are just not even moving.
No, and worse, the guy's like, I can't hear you. Like, whatever. I'm like, nobody cannot fucking hear me, number one. Okay,
That's true.
I don't need a phone. Number 2, oh, so you can't hear me over the speaker? And so then I said to him, you guys were there yesterday. Why didn't you ticket them yesterday? He said, I wasn't there yesterday. I said, no, but you're here today. And you're here not ticketing him now. So you're going to what? Like, fuck them all the way to hell. And then here's another fuck them. And remember the bylaw guy that I said, remember his face.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, here he is.
It's almost 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, again, it's, I had to reach you there.
Yeah.
You know the routine there.
Well, I don't know the routine.
Okay, fair enough.
Because I was ticketed at the place, and they refused to give me a copy of it. And now you're here, and no, I'm sure you're a very nice man, but you know, you look like a cop, and all my neighbors see that now, and it's.
Well, I mean, it's after hours. It's just procedural, but again, this is for the noise using the megaphone.
So why wasn't I given this at the time?
So, obviously, the information on the ticket has to be correct.
And I gave the information. I gave my ID.
For sure.
I gave my address.
A lot of times, I'm not saying you're a liar, but oftentimes people do not tell the truth. So the information has to be verified.
So what?
option-
But how does that
option-
change anything?
Option one, plead guilty.
Okay, no. I know it. How does it change anything for you guys to have waited?
Again, we have 6 months to issue the ticket.
Okay, so but
if you
there's.
wanna challenge it,
I'm
you can have
asking why you had to come to my house at 10 o'clock at night
Information had to be
on
sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gave you the information. I gave you my ID at the time. Could you not have given me the ticket then?
Again, that information wasn't verified.
How'd you verify it?
We have our sources, sir.
Okay, well, why couldn't you have issued me the correct ticket or something? Like this is
Again, now the information.
What's your sources, fuckface?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely be challenging it,
sure.
but I am really upset that Bylaw, and I think you should be upset and embarrassed that and please do take a note of this, that Bylaw is now driving out at night and putting you on the job here when I don't understand why you couldn't have given me the ticket there at the time, because I have to be honest, this is really intimidating, and my neighbors now are seeing you come to my house here, and that's not anything against you, but you can understand the stigma of it.
Procedural, for sure. And
No,
again, you
it's
have the
not
option.
fucking
This is not
procedurally.
procedural. This is
Piece of
completely.
shit.
They
Right.
wrote the ticket in front of me and refused to give me a copy. I understand that's not your fault, sir. You weren't the one doing that.
Yeah.
So I do apologize for bringing that out on you.
For sure.
But please do report back how ridiculous this
Absolutely.
is.
When
okay?
Certainly, when you do challenge a ticket, mention that in the court.
I
Why?
absolutely will. I will. Okay. What was your
Why?
name?
It's at the bottom ticket. There.
Okay, it's on the ticket. All right. Have a good night.
So first of all,
Hang on.
When-
So yes,
yeah.
the ending there got a lot of digitization. That's just to protect the person that's being ticketed. That's the reason why I modified the video there.
so when I got ticketed, I didn't have my ID. The first, second, and third time they gave me my ticket, they never once looked at my ID. And I said, you guys know me, but they acted like they didn't know me and asked me to ID myself. And then they fucking handed me the ticket the first time. This guy's like, some people are liars, he says. We have to verify. But you saw his ID. How is he going to lie when he showed you his ID and gave you the address and everything else? And what sources do you have that are better than the ID that he showed you? You lying sack of shit.
Especially if I'm not sure what ID this person provided. I'd be curious and I'd love to find out, like, if it's some sort of questionable ID, that's one thing. But if it was like a legitimate driver's license, I'd love to find out. Is this
He could have been handed the ticket, and then if they got it
Yeah.
wrong, and then they found out who this guy really was, they could have shown up at his house. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They
No,
could
absolutely.
have given him the ticket that they wrote. This was
So, yeah.
100% intimidation tactics.
So,
and
it's
fuck you,
absolutely 100%
Bylaw. Who the fuck
yeah.
do you think you are?
I absolutely agree,
Rented
because
piece of shit.
if let's say I lied. I'm getting the ticket, I lied. All right, cool. I'm gonna show you a fake ID, I lied. You're gonna show up to my house and give me the ticket because I lied because you verified it. Guess what? You verified incorrect information. You don't know who I am. You don't know what it is. I don't get to see you. Cool.
And who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares? It's not like you're not going to see him at the next protest. Who the fuck cares? So what? You got it wrong for a fucking ticket. It's that important to you that he gets his ticket? Like all of this and then he says, tell the judge. The judge doesn't have any authority over the bylaw people. So why the fuck would he complain about it to the judge? What the fuck does that have anything to do with anything? So you saw me. You guys saw the video. I'm like, man, being my usual self. I don't take this shit personally. But when you show up at somebody's house and you lie like the son of a fucking bitch that you are, now it's personal. Now you're showing us who you the fuck are. And just wait until the next protest. If that piece of shit is working, I will be right there, buddy. And I'll remind you what you did. Fuck them. And if it takes 6 months to issue a ticket, Why do you have to show up at 10 o'clock at night on the Monday preceding
Well,
the
yeah, they have up
thing?
to 6 months.
Sure. So then show up at a decent hour or mail the fucking ticket. Who needs to hand deliver a ticket? When you go through a red light or you go through a speed camera, does somebody show up at your door to hand you a ticket, or can it be mailed to you? Like, all of it's bullshit. The whole fucking thing is bullshit.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is a targeted attempt of intimidation. The city mails tickets, as Deana said. The city mails tickets for speeding and for going through a red light. Now, I may have gotten a ticket in the past. They never showed up at my door.
They mail
They
your
just mailed
parking
it.
tickets,
They do.
right?
They absolutely
don't
do.
sit there and wait for you to get back to your car to hand you the parking ticket. They stick it in your windshield, and if somebody rips it out of your windshield, oh well, you still get mailed a ticket.
So why did the person show up?
Because he's a piece of shit. And now we all know that this guy is a piece of shit.
I'm not going to blame the guy. And the reason why no.
He lied. How do you not blame a guy who's lying?
I'm not saying he's not.
Normally, I
No,
wouldn't
I'm not
blame
saying
the
he's
guy.
without blame. I'm not saying he's without blame for things. I just feel he's not the only one, and I'm not. I just don't want to throw everything on him when there's somebody else that's also involved here.
I'm going to throw all of this on him because he followed through with it. Other people get blamed too, but he did this. He did it. He chose to drive. He knows his shift isn't starting at 10 o'clock at night, and he got this done first thing. No. And that's not the only time he works, because we see him fucking working during the day. No, fuck him. He gets all of the blame, and other people get blamed too. The bylaw, they're responsible because his boss is responsible for him, and his boss's boss is responsible for how they conduct themselves. And the city council better fucking do something about this. And Mark Sutcliffe better fucking do something about this.
Yeah.
This is gross. It's absolutely disgusting. And it is insult to injury. Like, they are just showing us how fucking, and they send the brown guy as if that's going to make a difference. It's about the entire fucking structure, people. Like, fuck you guys. Fuck you to hell. You colonialist pieces of shit. Rant over.
Yes, but we love it when you rant.
This fire.
We're not. Oh no, absolutely. And you know what? I'm fired up.
I was pissed. I called you right away. I'm like, fucking Joe, this is what I want on the I was pissed.
I know. And I'm with you on this one. I'm even having some ideas here. But we're going to leave the Palestine thing because, again, we're going to continue with this. We're going to follow this, and we're going to let you guys know as more stuff comes up in regards to it. Yeah. And now we're going to go with this new movement that we're starting to see in regards to the right. And that is the 1 million marches. Sorry, 1 million charges for the people.
We always need humor in our lives, so thank you for this.
Yeah.
This is
so
funny.
Moving away from the passion and moving more into the chuckles, I give you our comedic relief to start off with here with his Elliot Moose McDavid.
This guy's an idiot.
Hey guys, good morning. Good afternoon. Elliot McDavid here, Moose McDavid. Listen guys, I've been off for a while. I just wanted to say a couple things about everybody. About the people out there that
this is
don't
so
believe
trailer
there's a
park.
problem. You can ignore it as long as you want. The longer you ignore it, the worse it's going to get. It's not going to be a slap in the face. It's going to be God knows what else. It's going to be far worse than that. They're killing their children. I don't have any children, thank God. I've probably already been into Ottawa, into the Parliament building, dragging them pricks out. And I want to tell you about all the horseshit that happened with the Save the Children Convoy and other stuff. It wasn't just that.
This is Alberta's
I didn't go
Carl.
for reasons that I don't even want to talk about. But people out there just bastardized it. Said stuff that wasn't true. And you call yourself freedom fighters? This fucking country's in dire straits, guys. It's worse than we can even imagine, and I imagine it every day. It's pretty bad. But you know what? I do think we're winning. I know we're going to win, but we need everybody to come together. I know we're spread out. The populations aren't real close like that. Like Germany and all those other countries. Fuck, they got neighbors so close, and heavily populated countries like Poland, and even Russians are rolling into Germany to help out. That's what we need to do. We need every province getting together. We need, in your own specific province even. And look at the children they're killing. See the picture this morning of a little girl. And it's sickening. If you got tyrants in the office, they gotta go. They're working for the UN.
Don Cherry, right
it's time
there.
to get this country back, guys. Let's do this. For the fucking kids. For the beautiful children that are totally being destroyed right now with propaganda. I love you all. Take care, guys, and we'll talk real soon, within the next couple days. Ciao.
Okay. First, he went from Trailer Park Boys to Carl to Don Cherry to like.
It was a roller coaster. It was a fucking roller coaster.
I hadn't seen that. That was awesome. That was funny.
Yeah, so that was my kind of it. It was a much longer video clip, and I'm
gonna have to watch it now because that was funny.
So that's pretty much Ellie McDavid in general. His video, they do get kind of crazy. So this one I kind of just focus on like, this is just, it's ridiculous. You just need to see the ridiculous. And again, I cut off part of it, but most of it is just that unhinged. It's just no reality is involved in any of this. It's just absolutely insane.
I saw a picture of a girl. Like, I have to see it so I can know what the hell he was talking about by seeing a picture.
Oh, no. Brace yourself. I will even send you the link to what it is, like the original source. But that feeling you feel right now, it'll be the same at the end of the uncut video. Like, it's just, no, you're not going to get more context. It's just, you're going to feel that confused as you are right now at the end of the original uncut video. It's just, that's what you're dealing with. So what he was also alluding to, because it was a couple of days before, was this. And that being, again, and this is from Luc Lebrun at Press Progress. If you don't follow him, I absolutely...
you need to follow him. His work is
absolutely
awesome.
Luc Lebrun at Press Progress are doing some fantastic work. But he did some fantastic jobs in regards to documenting this particular event, which was the Zoom call, which the kickoff of the 1 million charges for the people. So,
can I just say, I love that somebody pointed out that Dana put herself at the top with social media and.
No. She's team lead.
She's the team lead. She's decided.
So, let's be honest here. This is shit that'll bite you in the ass when the shit goes down.
Fucking
because,
right.
like,
She's
oh, look.
done. Who are the organizers? I'm not an organizer. Are you sure?
I'm not an organizer. This is just me pointing to myself in charge of the whole thing, but I'm not an organizer. All right.
Just leading. I'm not the I'm just leading. And I'm drawing a really nice chart so people can follow along with the plan that I didn't plan, but I take credit for the plan.
So, yeah, I'm not in charge of the plan, but here's the plan. Let's go. So, this entire thing is the more I read and heard about this thing, it was absolutely insane. So, let's go through this quickly from the points that we got. I didn't go through the footage of the Zoom call because we don't need it. It's insane as it is. So, far right convoy plans to occupy Canadian police stations until government officials are arrested. Yeah, that's it. It doesn't matter.
It matters. Do they want to arrest
Yeah,
Pierre
but
Polyev?
yeah,
I'll
but
go sit in a
you're
police
talking
station
in
with
a
them.
reasonable, Dina. You're talking in a reasonable, logical way. These guys don't work like that. You know that. Come on, stop
we're
being
gonna-
so demanding.
If we're going to arrest Pierre Polyev for election interference, then yeah, I'll go sit in a police station with my megaphone even. I'll even bring my dollar store megaphone as one of the convites.
Yeah. These guys are not doing that. So they're planning on coming in, and again, I'm looking at this like, okay, so your plan is to go and camp into a police station until you get what you want. That should go well.
Just like Dudulo's went well.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I'm not leaving. I pay your taxes. I bet you that's what they're going to say. I pay your salary.
We're here to arrest you, so you're all under arrest now. So
arrest.
go be arrested.
I want
Like
Carl
that.
to
That
try
was
to make the first
that was
arrest.
literally the Dudulo. They're like, you're now under arrest, so
And then they all
stand
end up on
down
the
and be
ground
arrested.
screaming.
Stand down, police! Stand down! You're under arrest.
It was funny.
As they're getting beaten and they're handcuffed.
It was hilarious.
I was laughing.
That was the shit.
So, as we pointed out, team lead for the plan, Data Metcalf. Top box of the entire thing. Again, I'm going to continue highlighting that because it's not going to age well. An organizer of the original Freedom Convoy, who is currently facing criminal harassment charges after staging a surprise convoy to the home of Premier of Newfoundland and Labrador. She still has those charges going on. On a Zoom call Monday night, Metcalf was joined by over 100 others, including several leaders of the Save the Children Convoy, a group influenced by sovereign citizen and QAnon rhetoric. That's to put it lightly, but very, very accurate. During the Zoom call, Metcalf unveiled a new project called 1 Million Charges for the People that involves a plan to occupy police stations and refuse to leave until police do what they say. So you're going to hold police stations hostages. Cool. That won't go over badly. Metcalf, also an organizer of last fall's 1 Million March for Children, said she will be converting the anti-LGBTQ plus groups' infrastructure and contact list to refocus on the new plan to occupy police stations. I thought that was just kind of interesting. I want to point that out. So she's
Another
just
new
taking
plan.
it, restructuring that and throwing into this new plan. Gordon Barry and Norman Blanchfield, famous from the Castleman Mud Camp, two other Save the Children convoy leaders, joined Clark in endorsing the plan, declaring it would be their last stand. And I wanted to bring that up also because
I don't believe them.
well, Blanchfield's been there's another story coming up. Again, we got a lot of stories to go through.
Yeah.
Blanchfield has said that they're heading towards their last stand, and there's some reason as to what's going on in the camp, which will be going on in a couple of stories in regards to what's going up there.
Will they
but this
self-destruct? I feel like that's
spoilers, my dear, spoilers.
this message will self-destruct.
Exactly. Do, 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 bonk. But yeah, so these guys are now having this new initiative to go to camp in police stations. Come on, Dita. This is going to be the plan that's going to succeed. You're just too negative to see how well this is going to succeed.
I'm going to be there for them, and I'm going to film it to see how it goes. I'll help
Okay,
them
one of the
get.
things I believe is you're going to be there
Yeah, I'm going to
and you're
help
going to
them
film
get.
it.
I'm going to help them get the eyes that they want on this, so that they, everybody can see how well it goes.
And to everybody else
I'm
listening in,
excited for them.
everybody else listening in, I'm just saying it. Watch party.
Yeah, I'm more of a live kind of girl. Like some people like to sit and watch the sports game at home. I love to go and see it, in person. You can
And we're more than
hear
willing to
things
go
that you
see
can't
it.
hear, like
And we're
on TV.
more than willing to get there and to film it for your benefit.
Yeah. I'm thinking of like investing in a lifeguard chair and like putting it on the planters that are in front of the, because I don't think I'll be able to film inside.
Well,
So
hey, look, I've got suction cup attachments for this guy, so I can put him on a high point and attach it.
I like
I've
it.
got all sorts of little attachments. I got the high stick and get 6. I can do all sorts of shit. I got that one. I got the Osmo. We got the phones. We got all this shit. We can make this thing
Really
happen. It's not a
exciting.
problem. It is. It's absolutely
like it.
fantastic.
It's a great idea, guys. Keep it up with your
Absolutely.
great ideas. I bet you this idea came to Dana in her kitchen. That's where all of her great ideas come from. When she's sitting in the kitchen, she makes these beautiful art pieces. I mean, she might borrow them from other places and like give her own little personal touch to it. But yeah, she comes up with great ideas when she's in the kitchen. She said so herself.
Kitchen.
Fruitful.
I'm like, it's just, I don't know.
Whatever.
Like the entire thing is just ridiculous to hear. I'm just like, I don't know what you guys are thinking, why you guys thought this was a great idea, but well, you know what? I'm here to watch it.
I think, Ziggy, you're right. Daisy and Christine visiting those police stations along the way.
Yeah.
I
A couple
think
of
it had
people kind of like, a couple of people kind of said like, that might have been sort of a soft test in regards to it. I'm
agree.
not sure.
There'll be no counter protesting. I'm just there to watch. I'm just there to watch. I mean, they're gonna say shit to me because they do, even if I don't keep my mouth shut. But I'll be there to just watch.
Well, you're literally going to be the figurative, you know, and I'd probably be there with you too. We're literally there to be the figurative fly on the wall. We're going to stay quiet. We're just going to hold cameras. We're not going to be your issue.
Yeah.
That's it.
I fully support your endeavors.
Yeah. You do you. We'll watch this. We just know how this is going to all end because how else would it? Now,
I want to know what's going on in their minds. Like they're thinking about it and it's bad.
Do you really want to find out what's going on in there?
No, let's go to the next story. We're running out of time. It's like 5 minutes to 11.
Yeah, I know. We got 2 stories left.
Oh, good.
So this is the first one. And this one we can't really ignore because this was national. Ottawa's use of Emergencies Act against convoy protests was unreasonable, violated charter court rules. So a couple of points I highlighted on this one. Federal judge says the Liberal government's use of Emergencies Act in early 2022 to clear convoy protesters was unreasonable and infringed on protesters' charter rights. The potential for serious violence or being unable to say that there was no potential for serious violence was, of course, a valid reason for concern, he wrote. But in my view, it did not satisfy the test required to invoke the act, particularly as there was no evidence of a similar hardened cell elsewhere in the country, only speculation. The situation at Coots had been resolved without violence. I agree with the government that the objective was pressing and substantial and that there was a rational connection between freezing the accounts and the objective to stop funding the blockades. However, the measures were not minimally impairing, he wrote. He also concluded the economic orders violated protesters' charter rights by permitting unreasonable search and seizure of the financial information of designated persons and freezing of their bank and credit card accounts. The 2 men whose bank accounts were frozen also argued that their rights under the Canadian Bill of Rights were violated, but modestly disagreed. He also concluded that the government's actions did not infringe on anyone's right to freedom of peaceful assembly. So this is one of the particular things that we're going to be highlighting in regards to this story, which is, yeah, there was, and I understand what Mosley was saying in regards to like the short version of this is that Mosley was kind of highlighting like the EEA has some very specific criteria requiring what was for the EEA to invoke, and that's what he was specifying. It wasn't quite there. Plus, also the existing rules should have been sufficient to handle the situation.
Yep.
As we all know,
Yep.
absolutely agree. The sufficient rules should have been sufficient,
Yep.
but they weren't being acted upon. And that's where we turn around
Yeah.
going, the city wasn't dealing with it. The province sure as fuck wasn't dealing with it from their cottage.
Yeah.
Home.
From snowmobiling.
Exactly. The only one that stepped up was the federal government going, you know what? Fine. We'll step in and we're going to do something about it.
Yep.
So, and to this, I'd highlight.
No one's going to change their mind about whether they agree with Trudeau for invoking the act or not.
No, absolutely.
I think the convites need to get that through their head. Like they think this is a fucking win. It's not. It's not a win.
It's not. Before we get into that, because you're right, absolutely right. There's so much things we can point out regarding that. So, Luc Lebrun, again, fantastic. Follow him. And the anti-vaxxer group, Canadian Frontline Nurses, had their case thrown out by the judge before it even got ruled. He also criticizes their lawyer for grandstanding and making inappropriate and offensive political statements to play to the audience observing the hearing remotely. So one of the plaintiffs didn't even get to get their court heard because they got kicked out of the court for being grandstanding bitches.
Yeah. Surprise, not the convoy people, not grandstanding.
Yeah. So it's there's a lot to sort of to go through, and one of the articles. Oh crap! I didn't get the image in here. Oh wait a second, I should. Let me see here. Yeah, there it is. Sorry, it didn't show up. So, one of the things during the hearing in the April 2023, the court was offended by the behavior of lead counsel of NAGL CFN, Canadian Frontline Nurses. Despite repeated instructions to address the issues, counsel repeatedly made inappropriate and offensive political statements. These grandstanding remarks were clearly intended to play to an audience observing the hearing remotely. I will note that junior counsel for NAGL Canadian Frontline Nurses, who presented argument in reply to the respondent later in the hearing, did not engage in the same misconduct. Apart from these concerns, having reread the memorandum of fact and law and the transcript of their oral submissions, I am satisfied that NAGL CFN, Canadian Frontline Nurses, bring nothing of value to these proceedings.
Losers!
As a result, I find that they lack standing. Their application for judicial review is dismissed and will not be considered further in these reasons. You're out!
Gonzo.
You are out of here.
See you later.
So, this part is also the interesting one that all the convoy streams and right-wing streams are completely skipping. And Luke did a really, really good job in regards to this.
Yes,
Not sure convoy supporters celebrating this ruling have read it closely. The judge notes that if he was the government, he would probably have invoked it too. He says the convoy went beyond legitimate protest and reflected an unacceptable breakdown of public order. Specifically, judge's words in the conclusion. At the outset of these proceedings, while I had not reached a decision on any of the four applications, I was leading to the view of the decision to invoke the EEA was reasonable. I considered the events that occurred in Ottawa and other locations in January and February went beyond legitimate protest and reflected an unacceptable breakdown of public order. I had to and continue to have considerable sympathy for those in government who were confronted with this situation. Had I been at their tables at the time, I may have agreed that it was necessary to invoke the act. And I acknowledge that in conducting judicial review of that decision, I am revisiting the time At that time, with the benefit of hindsight and a more extensive record of the facts and the law than that which was before the GIC, government in charge. So even the judge says he would have done it because it was difficult not to view it and not
well,
to
he
see that
said
it
in
was needed.
hindsight, like he has hindsight, so he may have done it himself because of the
Absolutely.
issues.
As he
Right.
said, he's had the benefit of hindsight.
Right. And listen, I remember it like it was yesterday, how fucking horrible it was. How
Yeah.
absolutely never ending, fucking horrible and disgusting those people were. And
Yeah.
they ran amok in this city. And their behavior that you see, they haven't figured me out yet. They're so fucking stupid, these people. They have not figured me out. I give them what they give. And they hate it. I am doing exactly to them what they did to Ottawa or what they keep doing to Ottawa, and they're still doing it. So they can't say that they were not that way back in February 2022. We see
Well-
how they are every single time I go, or they even film themselves being fucking jackasses, right?
Well, this goes to my I paint. I go back to the POEC. Remember POEC?
Yeah.
During POEC, you were out there with a megaphone.
Yeah. No
doing what you do.
megaphone. I didn't have a megaphone until after. I was just
No,
yelling.
no.
No, I didn't.
Oh no,
have a
no. Oh, sorry. That's right. You were just yelling. I thought you had a no. You did have a megaphone because you got the megaphone during Tupac.
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
I got the megaphone because of Crystal in December. A follower said you need a megaphone.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I had a really loud voice. Remember when Tamara tried to pretend she couldn't hear me over the construction? I'm like, everybody can fucking hear me. I know how good my voice is. How loud it
As
is.
somebody who's been around you for quite a few years now.
Yeah.
Yeah. New Year, if you can't hear her, you're fucking lying. I'm sorry. I'm deaf in
Or you
one
need
ear
to
because
clean
of her.
your ears. It's that bad. Yeah.
No, so this is why I'm like, yeah, she's got the megaphone yelling at the bylaw officers. They can't hear her. Yeah, whatever. In the Toronto live stream, where like, why am I so loud? But to me, I just remember I thought it was from POEC, but it was just the entire. Oh yes, wasn't from the POEC. It was from the reunion in January.
Oh yeah,
because you had megaphone by then.
I did.
Yeah.
Correct.
And it was the entire thing where these guys were yelling and screaming like, we weren't a big protest, we weren't loud, we weren't disruptive, the trucks were peaceful, we had horns, but it wasn't a big deal. And at the same breath, they're like, she is loud and she is
Yeah, I loved your comment.
Assaulting us.
Yeah, you had you did a tweet and you're like,
yeah,
you guys are offended by one woman with a megaphone.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You are defending, saying trucks are peaceful and weren't that loud, but one woman with a megaphone,
fireworks,
and you lose your fucking shit.
Yeah, fireworks, microphones, speakers, music, car radios, everything running. Like you name it, they were doing it. Like the parties in the streets.
Yeah,
and then me showing up with a megaphone, and they can't
one woman
fucking handle it.
With a megaphone was more disturbing to them than everything they were doing, which was, I'm sorry, 10 times as loud. And again, I'm not even going to speak for the people of downtown. I'm pretty sure they can probably speak to you, and I would be more than glad to get to pay for you to go downtown to walk around the megaphone to let them say if you are louder than the entire convoy as a comparison. Because if they think you're too loud and the downtown people say you're not, then that's how much worse the convoy was.
Yeah. And it's funny because I'll go there and I'll hear them like saying shit to other people. So I start saying shit to them and they're like, why do you come here? Why do you come here to harass me? I'm like you're harassing these people? Like, for
You're harassing
real.
tourists. You're harassing the downtown residents.
so-
You're harassing everybody here.
And then when they started cheering about this verdict, I was like, cool. That means we could do it too. Great. Like, and they're just, somebody was like, somebody better check on DNA rigged. I'm like, dude, this is great news. You guys do this shit to us, which means when you keep saying, is Deana in jail yet? Why? Because I'm doing the same shit you guys do and I'm going to go to jail? Do you actually think I'm going to go to jail for the shit that you got away with? Fuck. I'm going to keep doing to you what you do to everybody else. They still haven't figured me out. And I just gave them a very detailed explanation of what I do. And see you at the next protest, dumb bitches. I'll never get tired. I'll never get tired.
They're not going to figure it out. All right. On to the last story. It's about the STC Convoy, Castle Camp, aka what is the mayor calling it now? Camp Mud Pile, I think it is.
I haven't been on mayor in a little
Apologies
while.
to mayor,
Get back
because
on and laugh some.
it is.
It's been a couple weeks.
And I need to go check up on that because the mayor has some good terms for the whole thing. Because again, it's Camp Mud Pile, camp shit show. Let's see what's going on there because we need to round up there. And so brace yourselves. This gets entertaining. So this comes from Resist Cats, the court cat. So this is they kept a log as to what's going on in regards to the video stream. I didn't get any clips from them yet because at the end of the entire stream they said they were going to write a post. More than likely it took them a little longer to do that. So we'll go through the whole thing in regards to the context, and I'll try to also fill in because there's some interesting parts here. I think Deana and I have a special perspective, both as Deana's from the world of co-ops and basically property management. I've got I got a lot of electrical background from my work history. So we'll go through it here. So Freedom Convoy commune camp near Castleman were inspected earlier this morning. According to one of the occupants of the camp, a fire marshal ordered an inspection on their electrical works. Now, fire marshals will do that when they're looking at electrical works going, that shit is sus. And again, the fire marshal will do that when they see something that could be considerably dangerous to a building.
And somebody would have reported it or they saw it on their videos. But yeah. Right.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, the fire marshal got the information. The fire marshal either go in there into place or whatnot. And we'll do like, we need these things inspected because, again, the fire marshal, aside from firefighters making sure your property is protected for fire, they also want to do preventive measures to make sure, like, you know what? If there's some stuff in here that's like, kind of dangerous, like, you've got full gas cans in a building beside a furnace, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't be doing that. That kind of stuff.
And just for the record, I've worked with fire marshals. They are very patient. They're not there to like make your life a living hell. They're actually trying to save your life. I haven't met a fire marshal who was an asshole yet, to be honest. They have always been super helpful. Always. And they give you time to fix your shit.
Yeah.
So
they don't want to come to your place to deal with a fire, but and if you work with them, it's like, hey, that's kind of a dangerous thing. Like, oh, cool. What's the better way to do it? Oh, let me show you. Great.
Or you need to call an electrician or whatever. Like, this is how it's supposed to be. And then you need to get it certified. Any electrical work needs to be certified. So either a certified
you're jumping ahead in regards to the electrical. We haven't got to the electrical part. We haven't got to the good part. Yeah. Shh.
Well, I mean,
spoilers, my dear. Spoilers.
Not really. It's right there on the screen. They showed up to inspect the electrical.
I know, but I hadn't read that paragraph yet.
All right. Okay, read it.
All right. So Before I get that paragraph, because I need to mark this one because we're going to get back to it later. So according to one of the occupants of the camp, the fire marshal ordered the inspection of electrical works. So that's what we're about to get into. The owner of the property, Chet Wiggins, mentioned on the live stream that there's an unpaid hydro bill of $6,500. Just remember that.
We
We'll get
can't
back to that
pay
later.
to fix all this. We still owe Hydro $6,500. What do you want from me, man?
We'll get back to that part later. Continue on.
I still didn't see the video. I'm just guessing.
I know. 2 inspectors showed up to inspect the electrical. Some of the occupants opposed to the inspectors taking pictures as those same occupants live streamed the inspection. So that is hilarious. Like, how dare inspectors take photos of stuff while we're live streaming them doing said thing on said places? Oh my God, we don't want this stuff to go public while we are streaming these things publicly. What the hell?
They just want to feel like they're in charge.
That's true. That is very much true. So, this is the first one that tripped to me here. Breakers and wires are different amperage than their receptacles, according to one of the inspectors. Now, Resistance Cats, Court Cats, came out right from the gate saying, I'm not electrical expert or whatnot, so I can't comment. I'm not saying I'm an electrical expert, but I am very familiar with electrical, again, because it is part of my work. So, something of concern in regards to what they're saying here. The breakers and the wires are different amperage than the receptacles. Depending what the amperages are, this could be concerning. So amperage is the amount of power going through a wire in regards to current. Voltage is always going to be 120 volts. That's what is standard is for North America, unless you're in Europe, which case it's going to be 240. But in regards to North American standard, most of your lines, in regards to off of breakers, are going to be 15 amps. Sometimes they're going to be 20 amps, and the rare case, they're going to be 30 amps, and that's usually like washer and dryer kind of stuff. And sometimes they'll go up to 240 because of the
the dryer is 240, and the
dryer's 240.
stove is 240. Yes.
Yeah, dryer and stove is 240. I believe the AC can be 240. But yeah, the amperage is the amps part, and that's where it gets kind of questionable. But this is where the breakers come in. So usually you got a 15 amp breaker. You can sometimes get a 20 amp breaker when you get some stuff that's got higher power, and those power outlets are slightly different. You know the standard 15 amp, which is like 3 pins. Oh, thank you, Magic Hand. You know your 2 lines and your little mouth and. It does the whole happy face with that kind of weird thing. The 20 amp is the 2 like this, but there's actually an extra T on there. Now, all that's more than what you guys needed. The point being, if your wires and everything, your breaker, your wires, and your receptacle are set to 15 amp or the same thing, not a problem. They're set to 20, not a problem. If some of those are different, depending how they're different could be a problem. And particularly if the breaker is set higher to what the wires and or the receptacle could be, that's a danger because that means the receptacle is allowed 20 amps, but the lines can or the power outlet can only handle 15. You've now got a fire danger.
Because it won't switch off.
It won't switch off when the wires
whole point of a
and the
breaker
outlet
is to break the
absolutely correct. And that can cause a fire. It can cause all sorts of dangers. Now, the short answer to this is because of these dangers, and a lot of people may or may not understand this, if you're not familiar with the electrical code, to make sure of these things, as well as some other stuff we're going to go through as like red flags, use and Deana and I will say this, get an electrician to do your electrical if you're going to need to get changes. And I'm not talking about like changing your light bulb. That's fine.
Much cheaper.
It's so much cheaper. It's so much safer. And you know what? If you are afraid of saving, spending an extra whatever amount of money it is to get the electrical done properly, well, how much is that worth compared to the life of yourself and your family? Because if that goes wrong, that's that's risk in your house.
I have an electrician who charges us $75 an hour, and they have been dealing with us for, and I say us, like prior to me even being a property manager in the housing co-ops for the last 30 some years at least.
Yep.
So what is it to have somebody come in for an hour to do something properly for $75, $150 for 2 hours if they had to spend 2 hours?
Right there.
Like,
Right
right.
there.
It's
Ziggy
not,
says it.
yeah, it could save a life. Like it's
Saves a life. It's peace of mind. Again, the right person for the right, the right person at the right price, as GRG just said there, can make a world difference. And again, if you know, if you're certified, I've been tempted to certify myself electrically.
the
If you're
thing
certified,
is
you know what you're doing. It's absolutely fantastic. It's not a problem. It's just understand the rules and making sure the entire electrical code is done. And it's not
they
complicated
update
if
the
you're familiar
code
with it.
every year, and they
They do.
update a lot. Like when I was working in a restaurant,
Yep.
we had the head people from ESA, and they were doing a training for the other ESA. And there was I think 234 changes that year in the
There
code.
are, yeah, but
It was a long
I've
time
seen,
ago, but still.
yeah, I've seen some of them in regards to the changes that go on from year. They're not always that crazy. Sometimes they're kind
No.
of dealing with certain changes. A lot of the changes deal with events that occurred that corners might recognize as improvements to deal with to improve and improve
But
safety.
being an electrician is like being a doctor. It's a practice,
It is
right?
a
Like you
practice,
are
absolutely.
constantly training, and you are constantly updating your skills.
It is. There is a majority of the stuff that's still overall pretty straightforward. There are some stuff that does require to improve, and you do need to improve it as you go through it. But still, there's a lot of things that are pretty straightforward that no matter what, you just need to do. And a lot of these guys, as I'm listening to this, I'm like, some of these things are just not quite right. So the amperage and wiring here, yeah. But here's the amperage and wiring. Resistance Cats wasn't able to say where the direction was wrong, because again, if they said the outlet was 20 amps and the wiring and
I mean, at the end of the
fuses are
day,
15,
we don't have to dissect this. The marshal said there was a problem, and we could just move on. Like, we don't really have to dissect what the problem is. Like,
you're absolutely right. And so, moving on this one, because you're right. There could have been a problem there with the wiring, so that's something to be concerned about if there was an actual problem. Because again, it doesn't end there. So this one here, I don't even need to dissect. I'm looking at this like, oh, fuck me. This one's a terrible problem. So there's lots of wires in the walls, and this has been studied to them.
I have seen shit like this in my housing co-ops, and I'm like, no. Electrician gets called right away.
Absolutely.
I haven't seen that. That's fucking stupid.
The horse is pretty awesome. Like, that's just such a weird fucking random thing.
I feel bad for the horse being stuck in that. That's a death trap right there, what they've got going on.
So exposed wires like this, and it's not exposed as in like they're unshielded. They're all shielded, so they're all safe like that. But they're kind of exposed in regards to just kind of being open. And the reason why electrical code doesn't really permit this, with a couple exceptions, is especially something like a barn or any other open room, these wires can be caught by things as people are moving stuff around or doing whatever. Oh, thank you, Magic Cat. And that can be dangerous. Usually wires are supposed to be in walls, because then they're protected by walls, so that people don't hit them. They don't do anything to them. These guys here, look at that big yellow bundle right here on the left side. If I hit that with whatever there is, by bringing in some stuff and something knocks them out, cuts them, slices them, whatever, that's a huge electrical problem. And there's so many wires there. That's a lot of amperage that could be just firing across something. This is dangerous. So, even something as a simple, just a conduit built to protect them, that could be more than enough to get that thing done. But these guys aren't doing the minimal.
They don't even have to build a conduit. They can just go buy some PVC fucking pipes and run the shit through the PVC and hang it.
Absolutely. The PVC, a good PVC pipe could absolutely work as a conduit.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. 100%. The point being, a conduit is what you need.
Right.
If you want to run these wires, and you need to run these wires along the wall, put them in a conduit. You're good to go. A good PVC conduit, that is very, very strong. It's not a problem.
Right.
But open wires like this, and I think this one on the left here up to the top, I think that one looks like it's either
Duct taped.
my first instinct was duct tape. It's either that or just like ribbon, that ribbon metal thing there. It's just
Tinsel.
no, it's kind of like that ribbon
Okay,
there with the
I'm just
hole.
kidding.
Yeah, it's just it's still pretty like it's just not right, bud. Continuing on, they used to have cardboard on an electrical panel. Okay, I'm not.
There's a gap in one of the panels. Move a plug that's by a sink. Oh
That's a
Lord. Well,
Yeah.
either that or put in a GFI. Put plugs covers on outside plugs. Something about
Oh.
inline extension cords.
Okay, so 3. Move the plug that's by the sink. Absolutely. First thing, it needs to be GFCI or GCFI.
It's GFI.
Um,
It's ground fault in ground fault.
GFCI.
What is wrong?
GFCI.
Okay, well, we don't say C. We just say ground fault. Somebody inhibitor. Thank you. Nobody said it, but I thought of it. Ground fault inhibitor. That's all it is.
So, but you're absolutely right. That needs to be a GFI plug for sure.
Yeah.
But it also should be a minimum distance from the sink. That's part of the code. It needs to be a minimum distance from the sink so it doesn't get within splash zone. Put plug covers on the outside plugs. To me, that reads like you're too cheap to use outdoor plugs for something that's outdoors. Like outdoor plugs need to absolutely have covers. Again, outside, you got all the elements: snow, rain, everything else. Make sure they have covers. If you have a backyard, you go back there, your plugs, if you have them in a backyard, they have covers. Why? Because you're fucking outside.
Have they like ever lived on their own before? Like, okay. Anyway, moving
No.
on. I'm not gonna.
And something about inline
How many
extension
more
cords.
are on this thread?
Oh, there's not much. We're at the end.
Right.
Last one being something about inline extension. I'm thinking indoor extension cords being used outside, which probably means the same thing where they're using outdoor uncovered plugs in an outdoor setting. They're asking to have why they had to pay the fee while a fire marshal order inspection. They are complaining about bylaws in various cities in Quebec. By the way, this inspection was done in Ontario, but they're complaining about shit in Quebec. Because why not?
Yeah.
So how did this all end for these guys? Particularly for Norman? From Cookie Lady, again, our another favorite, Cookie Lady. Translated by Google Translate. Hi, everyone. From Norman Life. Hi, everyone. I'm looking for a house for me and my little family. If anyone has anything to rent, make me a sign, please. If I want to sing, let me know. Please, I need it as soon as possible. Thank you for your help. Norman Blanchfield, who's been living at the Mud Camp for quite a while.
Do you know what I do? Part of my landlord check is to check on people on their social media. And I don't deny people housing just because they're assholes on social media. However, if they're showing me that they don't pay their bills, then you're not going to make a good co-op housing member, because the number one rule is that we need your housing charge on the first, because we have to pay the mortgage on the first. And the only real income that comes into a housing co-op is the housing charges, which are already low to begin with. So if someone's not able to commit to paying their bills and to live whatever, he probably wouldn't make it in any of the co-ops that I've ever managed or that I would manage. And I'm not the only one who does that. You have to be able to pay your bills.
You absolutely do.
First
I mean,
and
he
foremost.
doesn't seem to be
His
doing very
credit
well.
check would be shit. I'm sure of it. His credit is probably garbage, which would also be an inhibiting factor.
Well, considering he had his truck repo recently, I don't think that's looking good on his credit score.
Right. And then you're going to call the landlord, which in his case, he'd probably get one of his friends to pretend that they were the landlord. I've had people do that a lot, but that's why I do the social media check and the credit check. And then when they say that they've lived a certain place, all you have to do is Google that address and realize, okay, wait a second, that address has professional management. Let's call the professional managers. Oh, you don't feel the same way as the last landlord I spoke to? How weird is that? Like, these guys all think they're so fucking clever, and they're not. No, Norma. Good luck in your endeavor looking for a place to rent.
So I feel I'm gonna say now. I think somebody's going to give him a place.
Sure, good for them. And then they're gonna get stung, just like Chet did. I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to find places, but whoever gives it to them is going to get
screwed.
Yeah. And so I'm just telling you how I avoid my clients getting screwed. Those other people, they can listen to the sob story and whatever. Listen, there was something I learned in Mary Kay of all things. Oftentimes, and I mean, things have changed since, but they're like, some people find themselves in the positions that they're in because they've put themselves there. Not everybody. This guy has no excuse. He has put himself in this position over and over and over again. So I will not listen to the sob story and feel sad about it. He did it to himself. That's my feelings on this. Don't apply to any of my co-ops, Norman. Just don't fucking bother.
Good plan.
Our waiting
That's it.
long. Yeah, we got a last video.
We got our closer for sure. Till then, that's it for us this week. Don't forget to catch us next week when we'll continue. Again, I'm shitty in regards to getting the assets back for the images, because again, this week has been insane in the news.
Yes.
I'm not even going to talk about the fact that I had to cut out activity that was occurring in Toronto in regards to rallies and arrests. So don't forget to catch us next week on Wednesday and this Friday as well on our Spaces. We'll be hosting at Spaces at 9 o'clock, where you guys get to be basically the subjects, and you guys can bring up the stuff that you guys want to discuss, as well as jump on our link tree and go take a look at the link tree. Danny Taro still needs some assistance. If you guys can help out, as well as this Saturday, I'm going to be doing a little bit of gaming night. If you guys want to follow up on that, send me a message. I can give you guys some information if you guys want to jump in for some just general fun in gaming, as well as I believe some Palestinian protests this weekend. Dina,
I don't know if it's Saturday or Sunday, but I'll announce it on Twitter and Facebook.
So follow both us on, and we'll let you guys know of the upcoming activities then. Till then, that's it, and we will give you our final little video. Good night, everybody.
This is called Operation Bear Hug, a giant bear hug with transport trucks.
Not once did you try to break a law, try to block something.
We are going to block bridges. We are going to block businesses. We are going to block en routes and off ramps.
You spent 2 hours at the airport seeing what Ottawa was?
Well, to see what the airport was and just go for a drive.
All right, guys, start jamming her up. This is the loop right here. You're going to come around. You're going to keep looping this.
That guy got through our convoy. Jam it up.
We're going to block everything.
No, I did not, Mr. Tabernacle. I did not, and I never will, and I never have.
We also have a memorandum of understanding that is being given to the Senate, not to the Privy Council, not to the politicians. It is going to the Senate.
For the Freedom Convoy, why did you stay for so long?
We are not walking away until the Senate approves it. If the Senate denies it, well, let's just say, you know what the next course of action will be.
Do you see that? Did you have knowledge about blocking the border before the convoy left? Not at all. Nobody knew. I have no idea how that happened. We were in Ottawa. We were on the roads. We were traveling, man.
We've got a group in Manitoba that's going down to the border, and they are going to shut down the border there. We've got a group on the 23rd that's shutting down the Coots border down in Alberta. We've got truckers that are going to block borders.
See what they do?
Basically, they're going to be doing their own little grassroots things in their small communities while we're rolling across the country.
The U.S. is all aboard on this too. They're handling their end. There's going to be blockades on both sides of the borders, so get ready.
When I saw you and you say we take care of everybody, no one will not have eat, no one will not have food.
And yes, I know it's going to disrupt the food supply and it's going to disrupt the supply chain, but you know what? At least we're in control of that disruption.
See how bad that is?
We are, not them. Just remember that. I feel sorry for you because you have to be like that. Because you have to be that type of person.
Oh, hey.
Move to China. Go live with friggin' Chinese people or something. I don't know. Anyways.
Be careful when you're doing freedom stuff. The government doesn't like it.
I'm tired of you TikTok scientists.